That way.
Right, ladies and gents, good evening. Welcome to the Exercise Stadium. Good to see a decent number of you here and some familiar faces as well. For those of you who don't know, my name is Pete Edgerton from your Harrogate Radio. Thank you to Harrogate Town for allowing us to come in and host this evening the first Fans Forum of the 24-25 season. An opportunity to put your questions to the panel, share opinions as well. That's what it's all about. But of course we're here with the one main thing in common, supporting this fantastic football club as well. So the panel, I know they don't really need any introduction, but we'll do it anyway. You can give them a nice round of applause. First of all, put your hands together for our fan engagement manager, Hamilton Mattock. Our Chief Executive, Sarah Barry. Chairman, Evan Weaver. And of course, the gaffer himself, Simon Weaver. We're also going to have Georgia, the dedicated football officer, on a little bit later, but without further ado, some questions have already been sent in, so I'll just, because we had a few people kick off last time that I was giving out names, so we'll keep it anonymous this time round. And first of all, I'll allow you, the panel, to decide who answers these, but I think this one might be for you, Irving, and I don't know if any of you have seen the news and the whispers about Tranmere, but the potential backing of rapper ASAP, who's connected to Rihanna. And this leads us on to the first question that I'm going to put to the panel tonight. Is the club able to advise if any potential external investor or investment group that are serious about coming on board, taking the financial reins, easing the burden? This fan who sent the question in says, recognise and maintaining the league status. It's an expensive and a dear do it thing, and you can't go on forever pumping money into the club. So, any rappers about to come into Harrogate Town?
No.
Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be wonderful? Yeah, I think we had a preview of the question, and I think it said about a minority shareholder being an investor in the club, and I thought the two can't go together. They don't go together, because why would you, with a few shares, invest when there's no equity coming back to you? So it really is finding the best thing is that clubs get pals together who are serious about football, and as a group, then that makes light work of it. But until somebody knocks on my door and says, well, you know, there's three of us here and we're good lads, and they need to be good lads, and you know, we're up for it, then it's plod on. But there'll be a day, inevitably, where we need a new chairman. Whether I've dropped off the edge of the cliff or the brain's gone, or whatever happens eventually, or somebody knocks on the door and says, "Isn't it time to move over?" And here we are, and that'd be great for the club. We need. I'm very aware that this league is a tough league, and we're doing our best with it. But yeah, we, as you say, we see the takeovers, we see the Americans everywhere, and it's getting tougher. But that's not to say we're not resilient, and it doesn't to say we're taking our bat home. It means we're digging in, as usual. And I haven't got the digging in to do. It's this one that's got to do the digging in, and they're great at it. And that's a tribute to them, because it's the inner belief and absolute dedication that's running it, and I'm just proud to admire and watch them. But I am a realist as well. But we are where we are, and we ultimately maybe there might be a regulator that makes things a bit more level playing field. Although I do suspect, even when that's taken over and everybody can say, oh, we're sustainable because they balance the books for us, and that's what they're trying to do, you'll still have input from a board that want to go further. There will be restraints on that, because they're running into the same kind of problem. but there'll be an element of it that it will go again. So I don't expect an easy ride, even though the regulator sorts it out.
Stay away from the cliffs, just for the time being. We need you. How, in comparison to last season, coming into this season, how much tougher is it getting? I mean, you mentioned there the backing. Obviously, people think straight away of Wrexham, who are going to be here in just over a week's time with the Americans involved, the circus, as some people class it as. But also, you know, the talk at the moment, by all means, well, by all accounts, it seems quite serious. This news, it could happen with Tranmere, that the backing happens. So how much more challenging does that make it?
Well, Tranmere is a big club, isn't it? They've got a big ground, they've got great support. It just top hats it, and yeah, we're battling a bit harder. But how tough is it now? Well, that's a question across here really, because we've got what we've got, and we're proud of what we've got as a squad, and it's Simon's challenge to match. And so far in the last 4 seasons, we've managed to keep moving forward. And it's still early season. You know, and you look at some performances. I mean, depth of squad is a factor, and we're just coming in now and saying, you know, when's Tomo back? Oh, it looks like Christmas. When's Gibbo back? Oh, it looks like Christmas. You know, and you go, you know, we're just unlucky. But you know, they will be back, and it's that impetus again. But yeah, perhaps I ought to just pass over the last bit on that.
By all means do, yeah.
No, I agree. It's pretty tough out there, and when it was Thursday, Tom, the other day, just as we were meeting for the team meeting before Tuesday night's game, we said heard about Tranmere and another takeover and Rapper involved and money injection, and of course, you know, we're fishing in ponds that it's difficult, you know, to recruit at this level, and we know there's many reasons for that, but we've just got to, as my dad said, just keep on fighting, and try and draw players who understand how we work here and are attracted by, you know, the platform, and who can get wrapped up in the passion of it, really. You know, there's not many of us when you look at the staff from Darren Moyes, who walked in the room the other night, and 3 assistants and people that have been with him for a long time, and they're great guys, but the league's getting bigger and bigger, and so yes, it is getting tougher, and you don't want to always think, well, we've just got to keep our head above waters, but you know, I think it's appreciated from outside the club, certainly, that, you know, a club of our size being at this level, keeping our head above water, it's not a bad thing, and hopefully we'll get stronger and stronger.
It's worth noting as well, ladies and gents, if you think of any questions while we continue and hear from the panel tonight, just make a note of them on your phone. I will be coming around and getting more questions for the second half tonight after we've had the pie and peas. Thank you, Joe. Joe's got the pens and the pieces of paper that will circulate at half time, as it were, and get a few more questions from you. Now from that, another one, and panel, again, I'll let you decide who answers this. It goes, we have a high quality food offering at the ground for supporters, but the facilities simply cannot deal with demand. Fans have to miss large chunks of the game standing in a long queue. What is the plan to improve this experience, first of all?
First off, good evening everyone, and thanks for taking the time to come along tonight. Really pleased to see everyone. Yeah, it's a really fair question, is that one. I don't know whether you've noticed in the last couple of games, certainly the last one, an improvement. We did have a sit down with the part 2 of that question, I think, was is it a franchise that we use? We have an external company that we use for our kiosks, and yeah, we work really well together. We got it nailed last season, actually. So we sat down and said, what's changed? Because, you know, the numbers, they've gone up, but not significantly enough for it to be such a problem. So we've identified a few things, and hopefully we'll fix it. We're never going to get to a point where I think there's absolutely no queue. We've got a second kiosk built down in the south stand, the Myring stand, We decided to try something a bit different with that and offer pizza, ice cream. So we will resume them back in the summer, but we're going to put the fuller menu in that kiosk as well, so we can get people down to that, use that kiosk as well as the one up in the north stand, because I think that was part of the problem, and the queue system. We're going to be trialling a new app, so you can order and then go and collect. So you've got a number and then you'll get your order ready. It'll give you a rough idea of when it's going to be ready for you to go up, so you're not stood waiting. That's going to hopefully be trialled at the next game. I think that could be a game changer. Lots of clubs are doing that. But being absolutely honest with you, the game where it was really bad, and I went and saw for myself, was we had a real staffing problem. That day, apparently, we had about a quarter of the kiosk staff ringing sick, and that was a real problem. It caused us major headaches that day. So we are really trying to address it and simplify the menu as well for the bigger games. That's the other thing that we're doing. So where we know we've got a big game, we just simplify the menu, and we're serving more food as well in the bars as well, Hamel, aren't we? So we're selling pies in all the bars now. So it's just little things, but actually collected together, they hopefully will make a better match day experience. So, but on behalf of everyone, just sincere apologies for that, because you're not paying good money to come and stand in a queue, and we've made that very, very clear. And we'll hopefully keep improving.
So will that app, Sarah, will that be this season, later this season, or is that?
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, it should be the next game. Hopefully, we're going to trial it just with a small group of people first, just to make sure that it actually works, because it's like anything new technology, isn't it? So yeah, that it should be imminent.
Any chance of town loyalty points? The more you order, the more points you win.
Good idea. Yeah, really good.
Hal, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, so we are looking at hot drinks as well behind the bar, anything like that to help. But we do pie and peas, and hopefully that'll be in all the bars shortly. And we are going to obviously opening early as well. We do have a happy hour, so again you can come earlier, and purchase your food, because when the gates do open an hour earlier, this kiosk, the top end, will be open for fans. But yeah, I think the app is going to change things. Basically, QR code, pay for it over your phone using Google Pay, Apple Pay, and it will give you a notification when it's ready as well. So I know some of the grounds are doing that all over the EFL, so it's good, and I think it's going to be a game changer, to be fair.
Right, next question. Please can the board advise whether there has been any progress regarding the club getting its own training ground? If not, it would be worth contacting our new MP.
Me too, would you? Yeah. The answer is yes, we are closer. I feel like a stuck record though, because we've said this probably the last 2 or 3. We genuinely are closer, and if you don't mind me saying, I mean, we've got a meeting actually in the morning, haven't we?
And one this morning.
Yeah, we've had one this morning, so we're having meetings probably once or twice a week with different stakeholders connected with the site that we've identified. We have a document ready to sign. We are literally just about there with it. We're just tweaking the last few bits. But we've gone through a pre-application, planning application stage 1 with the council. Nearly going to give the game away then. And then we're just about to do another one before we do the real deal, the real planning application. And the only reason that we're not announcing this publicly is we haven't signed the legal agreement, and that is it. It's sat with solicitors. As soon as it's signed, it'll be out there in the public domain, but it just would be unprofessional of us to do anything. It's part of the agreement as well that, once it's signed, we have a joint statement with us and our new partners. But yeah, it's imminent, which is really exciting. The timescale, which probably is the next question, what we're thinking, 2 2 to 3 years. By the time planning application, Irving is shaking his head. Do you want to say anything on that, or?
Well, as fast as
You can.
I mean, there are 2 stages already. We would need 9 months to get everything in place to start. So that's 9 months on top of a planning. And planning, if you get it done in 6 months, you're doing really well. So that's 15 months. And that's how it is. So it's probably a year's build program. So we can get into it perhaps in our 3rd season from here. But when we finish it, it'll serve us well. We're definitely, you can see 2.5 years to 3, and it's just the way it is. Planning authority departments move very slowly, and you can quote me on that.
There's cameras there.
I've said it.
Simon, anything to add to that? I mean, what would new facility, Town's very own training ground mean to you and the players?
Well, I think it would give us another good thing to say to a player, meet us at our training ground. At the minute, we're the guests of Rothwell Juniors Football Club, grassroots, and the brilliant people that have been welcoming. We've tried it before at other places, like such as Tockwith for a short period of time, and which is a little bit more trained, but they're great. They're great people, and it's quiet there. Yes, but obviously it'd be great. We share the badge in there. We've got a gym in the corridor. So there's a gym equipment lined up, and as long as everyone attacks each day, with energy and make sure they make use of what facilities we have, then we shouldn't be using it as an excuse. It's a privilege, I'm sure, as a club and as a manager to go in through your own gates, and you've got training facility that's absolutely yours. It's been really good in terms of the pitches have been good so far this season at Rothwell, but at the minute now, every Saturday, Sunday, there's 400 kids running around on the same pitches we're using, so that'll start making the pitches a little bit more difficult. But then they've got a brand new 60 by 40 3G that we've been training on, and then we can go down to the West Riding County FA once a week at the moment to do shape on a full-size pitch. So it's just one of the factors where of course it'd be brilliant to have our own training ground, but this is part of our journey, isn't it? And we have to find a way, doing okay.
And like you say, Irving, planning takes time. By the time it comes around, who knows, you might have backing from David Guetta or Craig David by then.
What I was going to say is one of the big benefits of our own training ground is reduction in costs, and it would generate income through PDC, letting 3G out as we do at St John Fisher, and also we won't be paying any rental, which is expensive. So there is a big plus on the finance having your own training ground.
Now this is a 3-part question, ladies and gents. So this one might be for you, Early, then again it could be for you, Sarah. Does the club have an environmental protection policy or strategy? And if so, can we have a few details, please?
That's definitely one for Sarah.
Yeah, we have gone through the trust, Community Foundation Trust. We are working on one with the EFL at the moment, which they have a green clubs strategy, so we are supported by them. We're kind of in the early days of doing that, so being honest, it's not fully ready. We have been back to back working on different strategies, and they've had to take priority because they've had deadlines sooner, unfortunately, than that one. So we've had our ED&I strategy to deliver, our fan engagement strategy to deliver, our family excellence scheme strategy to deliver, and I'm sure there's a 4th one. I'm trying to think what it might be now, but I think they're the sort of main focus points. just checking my notes. Oh yeah, that was it. We have a safeguarding strategy, which we've just been audited on actually this week, and we've passed with flying colours. So green clubs is the next one, some of the team have been attending meetings last week. It's not to say we're not doing everything with that in mind though. All the new stands, obviously we've converted to LED, the new training ground facility, everything has got that running through it. But obviously when you're working with buildings that have been around a long time, such as areas in the ground, it's going to take a little bit more work to deliver that. So we're not ready. We've got quite a bit of work to do, in all honesty, on that one.
And the third part is, please can the board update us on the position regarding the football governance bill?
Yeah, has anyone seen that in the press today? Yeah, so you've seen that I mean, really good timing for this meeting, so I can give you a little bit more of an update. Just find my notes. It's literally just come through on an email. I haven't had a chance to properly digest it. So yeah, literally a couple of days ago, EFL clubs were invited to a virtual meeting with the Secretary of State, Lisa Nandy. That was yesterday, so I attended that on video, and have to say, wherever you stand politically, she came across incredibly well on that call. She was very sincere, very clued up, and basically if those actions follow the words, and let's hope they do, then I think we're in for something really positive that could transform the club. So where we're at, it's a football governance bill. It's been introduced today in the House of Lords. There is a little bit of a fast track approach to this, so what could have taken 3 years, they're now proposing will take half that time, so it'll be about 18 months before we get what they're calling a state of game report published. And because we've already been through this with the previous government, we're not starting from scratch again, we're already there, so they're committed to kind of not starting from the very start. However, they have made some changes to the bill, so there still has to be a consultation process because of those changes. One of the big changes doesn't really affect us to the same degree. Clearly it affects the Premiership more, is to do with parachute payments being included in this bill. There weren't before. The main changes though are the fan engagement. That's going to be a major part of this new bill, and as it should be, because you are our most important stakeholders. And really everything else remains the same. I think the big message that came out in the meeting yesterday, and there's so much I can say, but it's all in the public domain today, but is that the new regulator that they're going to be appointing, the independent regulator, will be independent of the government, and they will have backstop powers. So if the Premier League and the EFL cannot agree, and that's where we're at so far, it's just kept crumbling, and thought we were getting somewhere, and then last hurdle all falls apart. If we cannot agree, they will step in and make that happen. Timescales, again, obviously every single one of the 72 clubs on that call, that was the big question, when? Because how long has this been going on? It's incredibly frustrating. And the good news that came across from Lisa Nandy is that she's actually worked closely with a couple of clubs that have been in trouble. One named Bury, which is publicly known about. She was actually part of that kind of rebuild. She fully understands the pressures. And I think, and I'm not saying this tongue-in-cheek, I genuinely mean this, I think because she understands it, she's a football fan, as is the Prime Minister, I do think that actually carries some weight as well. The bill is out there now. It's on the UK Parliament website if you want to read the full version. and then there's an edited version on the DCMS website apparently as well, so I haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but I will do, and I'm sure we'll be publishing them. So let's hope this is finally it, because this has been going on far too long.
Yeah, too long. Gents, anything to add to what Sarah has already said?
I think you covered it, yeah.
Okay. In that case, ladies and gents, get set, because we'll be wanting you to scribble a few more questions down that we can put to the panel shortly. We're going to enjoy some pie and peas, but first of all, another round of applause, because I'd like to welcome to the floor our dedicated football officer. Here comes Georgia.
Hello everyone, my name's Georgia. I am the dedicated football officer in North Yorkshire Police. Just to introduce myself, this is my first season as what we call a DFO. I look after 3 clubs, so I also have York City and Scarborough Athletic on top of Harrogate Town. I took over from Andrew Pearson back in March. So yes, this is my first full season, hopefully, as DFO. Just quickly, as a snapshot of what my role is. So ultimately, I assist in the planning and the operational running of football fixtures within North Yorkshire in the county. We also work really closely with all of the clubs, the safety officers, and we try to link in with the fans, particularly in your, when we go to away matches. There's DFOs all over the country. Generally, there's a DFO per club. So we link in with them and discuss information regarding that fixture. We also attend home and away fixtures. You might have seen us. So when I'm operational, I will generally wear a half blue vest with a yellow vest at the bottom. These are what you call operational football officers. You might have seen them at your home fixtures and some of the away fixtures. So yes, if you do have any questions, or you have any information, or you need help whatsoever, either you can contact me directly, you can speak to the club who will pass that information on, but I don't want to be a stranger. I try to come to as many Harrogate Town matches as I possibly can. However, obviously I do have 3 other clubs that I also need to visit. And lastly, I just want to say thank you for your behaviour, both home and at away matches. We rarely have incidents at Harrogate Town, and we as the police are really thankful for that. So hopefully that can continue. But yes, if you have any questions or anything, or want to know more about what we do, don't be scared to come and speak to me. But yes.
Ladies and gents, once again, your dedicated football officer, Georgia. Thank you. Okay, well, we'll take a break. The pie and peas are going to be ready very soon. Help yourself to more drinks, obviously, from the bar. We've got teas and coffees too. And please get some questions scribbled down, because we'd like to put plenty more to the panel once we've tucked into the pie and peas. But thank you for now. Obviously, you won't be able to do this if you still took it in, but can we have a quick round of applause for Tomo, who was here last week, Simon, that you became a dad? Tomo?
Oh, yes.
Right? Judge Thompson?
Leo, yeah.
Yeah, little Leo. So congratulations to Tomo. And Levi, by this weekend, should be a dad for the 2nd time as well. We're hoping.
By now, really.
So yeah, could be now. Could be now. Right. First of all, Sarah, before we go any further, an update on the fan engagement plan and the panel as well that's going to be coming.
So you may have read the fan engagement plan. It's on the website. If not, if you want to have a look. We're about to launch imminently our very first Harrogate Town supporters panel. This is very, very different to anything that we've done before. It's not connected with any existing group. It's not connected with the independent supporters group. That is a separate group, or the trust as well. So this is completely independent of that. However, there will be reserved places for people that represent the club. So obviously we've got Jordan in the room. I think it's a good opportunity for me to say thank you, Jordan, as well, for all the work that you do, organising the away travel and everything else. I know you put absolutely hours upon hours into doing that. We really do appreciate it. So we'll be announcing this imminently. It's going to be in the next magazine, and then we'll be putting an application form out there. What we'd really like to do is to invite people to apply to become part of the panel. We expect the panel to be between 10 and 12 people maximum, and it will be a real chance to consult directly with the club on all different matters, important matters, match day experience, ticket prices, our heritage, you name it. But really have meaningful dialogue, consultation, open and honest, transparent, a chance for us to listen, to act, with really good intent. All we're asking for those that put themselves forward is your time. There's no cost associated. The club will provide meeting space, refreshments and everything for you. This is particularly unique because the panel won't have a financial element to it. So will be the panel itself will appoint its own chair, vice chair and secretary, but there won't be a need for any financial treasurer or anything like that, because there won't be any financial reporting or anything. So it's literally a case of giving your time. And we're looking for people who are going to represent obviously different parts of our diversity, equality, diversity, inclusion will apply throughout. So we're going to be looking for people who will represent over 65s, under 25s, people in the middle, women, every different type of community out there. So all that detail will be published when we put the application process out there for you. In the meantime, if you've got any questions about the panel, please get in touch directly with me. My contact number and email address is on the website for those of you that don't have that already, or come and grab me after this. Or indeed, if you've got any questions now, you can ask.
Just how often do you think you might be meeting the plan to meet?
Well, from the club's point of view, the panel, so there's kind of two types of meetings. There'll be the supporters panel meetings that whoever's on that would hold, and that would be with the 10 to 12 people on the panel, and you can invite guests into that, and you can liaise with everybody else who represent different supporter groups and the supporters in general. So you have those meetings. And then you would have the more formal, full meetings, we call them, with the club. And we would commit to having them at least every quarter, so for a year. We've looked at different clubs' models. One that we really like, we think they've got it right, is Oxford United. So we've done quite a lot of work with the Football Supporters Association. They're going to help shortlist. So if we get more than 10 or 12 applicants, they're going to run that process, so it's independent of the club and it's all done in a fair and proper manner. They're really great to work with as well. So it would be up to you, but looking at Oxford United's model, they ask for a commitment of every 4 to 6 weeks. They have 2 misses and you're out sort of policy in there, but that would be down to whoever's running that. So i.e. if you run or you miss 2 consecutive meetings in a row, then your place gets promoted to somebody else to take it, because obviously you need to be committed. So it is a time commitment that we're asking for.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions on what Sarah's just said, ladies and gents? Okay, well, while you've got the microphone, Sarah, this one is for you. What is the plan to improve attendances?
It's ongoing, it's never stops. So the plan is the same as it always has been, is to engage with all our stakeholders ongoing. So we're doing loads of work with our kickback grassroots clubs, of which we have about 15 partner clubs in and around the Harrogate district. So we've stepped up a gear with that this year. They come to every single home game. We give them complimentary tickets as well, and then they purchase extra tickets. So we're doing a lot more engagement with those groups. It's working really well. We also are doing a lot more with our Junior Supporters Club as well. We've got nearly 600 members with that, our Player Development Centres as well. So it's ongoing. We've got Community Foundation who are in, I think it's 9 partner schools. So our ideal world scenario is that we're going to be in every single school with a big initiative. But it actually dovetails well with the supporters panel, because we want to be able to consult. What I didn't say on that is we want the panel to be up and running by January 2025. So we've got about a 10-week window between now and then to get that going. So that's doable, very doable. But we'd like to be in every single school in the district for all age groups. We're doing a lot more. You might have noticed we did an under-18s offer. We've done a season ticket holder offer as well. We have noticed, unfortunately, we've been tracking attendances for the evening games and the televised games. They are having an impact. I think up until the last game, we only had one fixture outside the school holidays. It was at your 3 o'clock Saturday. We've had a lot of evening games. We've had obviously fixtures moved. So we're kind of obviously looking ahead now to look at what else we need to do to get the home supporters. And obviously you can't always guesstimate how many away supporters you're going to get either. So we can go from anything from, is it MK Dons, we had just over 100. It's an evening game, it was on TV, it's a long way to travel. Whereas Port Vale the other night, you're looking at nearer 600. So it just varies. So it's an ongoing thing. Just to reassure you, we're committed. That is always our #1 priority. Hamel and I have had the pleasure of a tour around the Army Foundation College today. First time I've ever been, same for you I think, isn't it? And they have 1,111 young soldiers. I had no idea. They've attended, not that many, but some of them have attended the last 3 games, and they really want to work with us. They've got amazing facilities up there. They've got artificial pitches and pitches galore coming, loads of them. And Simon doesn't even know this yet because I've not told him, but they've got all these amazing facilities, gyms, swimming pool, outdoor activities, outdoor gyms. They've got one of those leaps of faith thing that you jump off the big pole and hit I've done that myself before. It's hard, but it's good to do. And they want to do that with you and the players. And we
signed you up already, Simon.
signed you up. But the good news is they are committed with. They really want to work with us, and we see a major opportunity there. But that literally happened today. So we've got for the 9th of November, I forget which month we're in then, we've got the Remembrance Day match. We've got 196 of the young soldiers coming from the Army Foundation College for that game. So we're doing loads. I've probably forgotten something.
Well, another, whilst you're on that subject, Sarah, somebody else suggested and pointed out that at Swindon, amongst other clubs, they had a fan reading out the teams, and then they had a game where they've got the Zorbin balls in, they have a bit of a competition, a bit of a giggle at half time, where it's home versus away. Any plans to do a regular thing like that, a competition maybe on the pitch?
Was the Zorbing on the pitch? I didn't. Oh, was
Yeah,
it on
we're
in
getting a nod.
advance? Was
We're
it?
getting a nod, yeah.
Well, we'll need to talk to our grounds team about that, won't we? And Simon is looking at me. I don't know what your thoughts are on Zorbing.
First of all, you're doing a leap of faith, and now you're doing Zorbing.
I didn't mean Simon himself. I meant it's funny. We were actually chatting to Rossett. They've got the equipment for Zorbing. They just don't have anyone to run it. So there is a. I'll look into it, honestly. I think any ideas like that we'll look at. We've got Mark here who looks after flag bearers, mascots, ball. What do you think, Mark?
I'm not sure who's running it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great idea. We'll look at it.
It's actually desperate to get on the pitch at half time, so
Also, as well, ladies and gents, I don't know if you're aware, but this weekend there are special offers. So Commercial Street, where the club shop is, they're doing Purple Saturday. So it's a one day of offers, and there's new town duvets that are coming. So if you watch the Instagram tonight, actually there's competition. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Simon. Jack Muldoon against Levi. Who can get the duvet cover on quicker?
Jack will do it all day.
I'm saying nothing. I've watched it. But I mean, in fairness, he's got the things on the mind. He's got baby brain, hasn't he? So, Sarah, do performances before games correlate with higher attendance?
Oh, it's a good question. Is that? I wouldn't say one game at a time, but what we did notice last season. I think when we started really picking up after Christmas, didn't we? We were touching the plate. The attendances did increase, but then they remained really high. They carried on increasing towards the end of the season. So yeah, I'd have to say yes. I think so. And other clubs do confirm that when we visit, which we always ask. Certainly clubs that maybe have come up or have had a good run, we always ask them about attendances and whether they've gone up, if they've gone into League One as well or come down from League One, what the difference is, and there's a noticeable difference depending on which league you're in. So I think that is a yes.
If you want to slide the mic, well, this is open to any of the panel actually. What is your league positions goal? Basically, where do you think the team can finish up this season, and what is the points aim, if any? Simon?
Simon, surely.
top champion.
What's that, sorry?
Champion.
I think, I remember a game earlier in the season against Crewe and wasn't happy coming after the game, and I've seen, we've all got a dare to dream, that's why we're in the game. I don't think anybody would have fancied us going up from the National League North to the Football League in a couple of seasons, and we did that, and we all believed together that we could do it. And right at the start of that second season in the National League, we've got to try and get everyone aligned, and we know that there's some powerful outfits there that have got incredible facilities, historical fan bases, huge budgets, massive depth of squad, coaches, staff going through their ears. But we've always got to believe that we're in the team that we set out onto the pitch. And when we were in the National League, there were times where you'd almost guarantee there'd be a couple of players in the opposite team who would be not that up for it, and we'd overpower them with desire and legs. It's a better standard. The depth of squads at this level and the demanding fan bases almost ensure that teams have to stay on it. But I think we're going stronger like we did last year, where there's a lot of thrashing out of ideas and for what suits these lads now. Lads adjusting to the level, players being out, and we're going on a similar path really from last year. In answer to the question, to be realistic for the players, so I don't fry them with, we must go up now, this is what I want, or you've gone kind of language, which is negative, is I'd like us all to believe that we can beat last season's position in the league. And that, I think, success means different things for each and every club. That's a realistic look at success for this level. Us actually being in the Football League might sound boring and keeping our heads above water, that kind of language for supporters, but I know what it entails to keep us up in the league, you know, and what the group have to, the work that has to be undertaken by people on and off the pitch to make us a club strong enough and durable enough to be at this level. So there are times, even in the early part of this season, we'll go, we're in for a tough ride here, so we've got to grit our teeth, we've got to be realistic, and we've got to accrue the points we can, when we can, and set out on the pitch every single game, valuing a point, and build it up the confidence level, because then we can go through and get the 3 points. But it's building blocks, and sometimes we've fell off the cliff against MK Dons. Maybe it was the reaction to the game before, the Bradford game. We played had to feel the same 11, and it was ended both halves, 40th minute, 39th minute to 45, bang, off the cliff, both halves, conceded all the goals, and you think, oh, that's wounded us, you know. We wounded lads back in the change room, getting abused on the way in, booed on the way in. You go, that's football, we know it. It's a shame we couldn't all enjoy the Bradford game for 4 days before getting hit like that. But we pick up the pieces and we go again, and we're good at that. I guarantee you, the group of people I've got around me are good at picking up the pieces and going again. And I think when people always think, well, the bubble must be burst, a little old Harrogate town, we seem to surprise a few, and we relish that. You know, whether it's one person booing, or a whole stand, or the away stand thinking it's little old Harrogate town, we should trample all over these. We prove people wrong, and we enjoy it. And it's a brilliant feeling the next day doing that. And then it's building the realistic, you know, building confidence levels up is huge for us. You know, and get players to be self-aware and then take action with the right attitude onto the pitch. Because you can build something, and you can build something special. I'm not going to fry myself or other people's brains in the changing room by going, I definitely expect us to be in the top 5. Because nobody else in the league will expect that, and I want lads to thrive on a feel-good factor first, and then keep setting the bar higher each week, and who knows them, because quite often at this level you do get a surprise package. I think they're often the case, like it was quite similar with Crawley, where we got to 7th last year, but their main players stayed with their club. They didn't leave the club, and their main players also stayed fit. You know, so you need things going for you as well when you've got the depth of squad that we have. But I'm proud of the bunch. I think even the other night we lost a game. I wake up the morning after thinking, we lost the game. I hate that. I hate that feeling. But at the same time, I said to the lads, it was a different feeling this Wednesday compared to the MK Dons Wednesday, when we're thinking we're short here. You know, you can't disappear on the pitch like that, and we're learning lessons all the time. But I do think they've got courage in there to be better, and they want to be better, and that's what we're all about.
Another point that's been raised, Simon, is the possibility of bringing fresh legs in January, an out-and-out striker, which I know has been mentioned for a while. Obviously, in an ideal world, a new striker comes in the summer, all set to go for the new season. So what are the chances of bringing somebody new in, a striker, or even somebody on loan?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that. I was talking to Lloyd Carey for some time at the training ground there. We're always talking, you know. We look at the team and the squad and what's behind in games, and we know where it's at. You know, we know, said to the depth, alluded about the depth already. It's not as deep the squad as probably 19 other teams at this level, but definitely centre forward is a priority to be able to bring in, and we're looking at the loan market. There's not many teams out there at League 2 or League 1 that will let us have someone for free. They're number 9. That's logic. They'll be wanting to keep their best players. So the loan market for someone on the fringes of League One, perhaps, who's out of contract in the summer, or League Two that's maybe on the fringes, but we like them for our game model. National League, we tried to get a National League player in last season, and he wanted 150 grand, which was very expensive at the time. It's the position where when you speak to each agent in the land, you speak to 250 agents, and and they all say, yeah, you like them all. They all want a centre forward. And I said, yeah, but mine's pretty important for my club. We of course, I brought Jack Muldoon in to play off a big man, and he's having to play like a big man. And I know he's having to run out to his own flick sometimes, but he's got better at it. But it's difficult, and that's why we have to play more football than we ever did, develop play from the back, because there isn't that Luke Armstrong, Mark Beck, Aaron up front, Angie, all these players that have come beforehand, and there's not me at home thinking, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be stubborn. That worked, so let's go away from that. Players have moved on, and credits them for doing that, or sought to move elsewhere, or haven't made the level. So until January, though, I think we keep encouraging the lads we've got, get behind them, and lift their confidence, because they're good lads, and every day I want them coming in trying to be better.
Now this is more of a statement, and you'll tell me whether this is fair or not. Can the team jog out after half time, especially at away games, because sometimes they walk out and they look like they don't care?
Right, okay. I'd rather than sprint around when the whistle's blowing. But yeah, I can bring that subject up in the changing room and put some fire in the belly, because I think the last bit is just not accurate at all. These lads are 15 lads we've got in there on 1-year contract. Quite a few of them have got kids at home, 2 and 3 kids. They've got a mortgage, they've got a car, they've got partners. I would be amazed if they didn't care. I think quite often it gets misconstrued when you lose a game for a lack of passion and care. When, if anybody wants to come around and see the training sessions and how intense they are, we've had independent people come in and say, I tell you what, that's intense. Darren Moore and his staff all came in the other night and said, don't your boys work the socks off for you and the club? And so I'll take that opinion rather than someone watching someone coming out for half time saying they don't care.
Irving, this one to you. Given the timescales for developing the training facility, is that potentially at risk if the club's league status should change? What happens in that situation?
I've never given it a thought. Seriously, it's a project on its own for the benefit it's a 70-year lease. So I think we could be in National, or we could be in League 1 or 2. It's the facility that's necessary, no matter which league you're in. It's got that recruitment element to it, but it's also got having your own premises makes a more powerful club.
Simon, this one says, what is your biggest regret during your time as manager? I.e. not signing a certain player, or maybe letting a player go?
Let me just think back over 15 years, inside 10 seconds. It's difficult. That's a difficult one. I'll have to have a think about that. I think so many players for so many years. I think I don't look back and regret anyone who's been mistreated at the club. I think we lost an important player last year, but it wasn't through not treating anyone correctly. I think we keep our respect in the right way. I don't know. It's a difficult one. There's no player. There's a lot. All the players we recruit, I meet, or It's like or even with Ibby when he's down at Abraham Odd, it was a Zoom call, and he was in the car, you know, doing the Zoom call, and we wasn't driving at the time. But there are special moments when you think is he the lad, is he not the lad, and then you see his smile, you think, yeah, he's us, he's our type, and many special moments. The ones that I regret, I dust myself down, and so I'll have to get back to you on that for the next Fans Forum, I think.
Fair enough. Now, Hamill, this one for you. With recent changes to legislation, like the Football Governance Bill, the EFL are pushing clubs on fan engagement and pushing clubs to have supporters trusts. Given the less than successful launch of a trust some years ago and division on social media, can the club outline the difference between a trust and a supporters club?
Yeah, good question. I think as we stand, I think we are the only EFL club not to have a trust. They both align the same. Many clubs will have independent supporters clubs, clubs associated with different people, whether it be disabled club, whether they might have obviously have the trust as well. But the trust itself, I believe, and it is very important for the club to have a trust. It has a massive say in how the club runs. It's recognised with the authorities, whether it be the EFL and loads of other different people, at the police as well. It's just a recognised voice, and because it's run as a committee, it's a bit different maybe. You have to follow the rules and regulations. I do believe, through no one's fault, that the trust, it's you know, we tried to do that, and you know, it's not as active now. Philip has tried to, he's not here tonight, he's not well, but he's tried to reignite that and get that going again. Unfortunately, that can't be the case. So I think now's the time we move forward and just say, look, that you know, we move forward and we start to recreate that, because it's important. Alongside the independent supporter club, it's important for them, for the fan engagement plan, for the board that we're putting together. We need those people, we need those different groups of people. As I said, it's no one's fault. I think we just draw a line, move forward, and you know, I'm hoping we're going to get people forward now to help us get this, you know, together. As a club, you know, Sarah and I, you know, everyone will help, but it's going to be down to you guys. It's going to be down to, you know, the people who really want to drive this, drive it forward, and I'm hoping in the next 2 or 3 months we can, you know, have something in place, whether it'll start with, you know, a committee, and then move forward from there, and you know, to grow that alongside, you know, all the other different, you know, fan groups that we want to do. You know, we talked about a disabled fan group. We talked about a women's, you know, supporters group. There's all sorts of different, you know, groups that I believe, you know, we need to be doing. It just helps us as a club moving forward. It helps us making those decisions, getting people's opinions on, you know, match day experiences and things like that. So I'm hoping that, you know, some people will come forward and you know, we'll give them all the help we can to get it.
On the microphone. This is a true Yorkshireman who's written this one. Very polite. Hi Hamill, are you able to explore the option of stocking pint cans of Strongbow? The current can is 440 millilitres. And when I'm around, I'm losing out on 120 millilitres. Very important. Happy to pay more. Thanks.
Well, you certainly will be paying more. For that extra 100 mil, yeah. I know this is aimed at probably the only person that drinks Strongbow now. Yeah, why not? Yeah. An extra £3.50, yeah.
We'll put it past you.
Yeah, apart from happy hour, £4.50.
On the subject of money, we come back to you, Mrs. B. So the talk of ticket prices, once again, is there any new packages coming up? A chance of reduction in prices as well? Things like that?
You threw me with a Mrs. Bit. Pete and I worked together for years, and that's what he used to call me.
Mrs.
So,
Bit?
yeah. What was the question? Ticket prices?
Ticket prices, yes. Is there any scope to bring costs down or introduce new packages as well?
Yeah.
I have got one, I can't find the note at the moment, but somebody's raised the season ticket for
the
under
under
18s.
18s at 140
Yes.
quid,
That's
wasn't it? Yeah. So, was it fair, I think was the question. It's subjective. Is that, in my humble opinion, it's what, £6 a game for that? You know, that's what it works out at. So, you ask, turn that question back, are we worth £6 a game? It's as simple as that. You know, we have costs. You can see the amount of staff we have to run a game, to just open the gates. All the medics, the stewards, the personnel. We want to remain competitive, and we want to become sustainable, and we want to do that in a fair way. One thing I didn't mention earlier with this new legislation that's come out, the new bill, is that ticket pricing is going to be on the agenda for the new independent regulator. So, you know, clubs can't just charge what they want. I'd like to think we filter it, all our pricing through a fair way. We analyse clubs above, below, same level, always. And where we can, we'll do offers. Always looking at new packages as well, obviously to try and get families and look at you know, cost of living, where we're at with that. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say the prices are going to come down, because it's not accurate. It's not to say we haven't had that discussion yet for next season. We're not that far ahead, but we'll always review.
Thank you. Simon, back to you for this one. First of all, how's Tomo doing?
Yeah, it's been to see a specialist with Rachel down in Leicester today, and we've had a microscopic image on his Achilles. There's some obstacle there, but it will not lead to, there will not be a need for another further operation. But it's a loading issue, so in terms of it's a slow process for loading up the strength on it in training, and it's going to take another 8 weeks before we'll expect to see him out in the park, which is a blow to him. But at the same time, when you're going from specialist to specialist and the top specialist in the country, you do get disconcerted by it and more worried after each week of not getting an answer. But this guy has treated Olympians, you know, and got them back onto the track, and you know, so he was conveyed a confidence, thankfully, and hopefully we'll see him back end of Christmas, New Year. But he's desperate to get back playing for us. You know, it personifies everything that we want to see in a Harrogate Town player, and he's missing it. You know, it's quite damaging for players. You know, when it's their life, and he's just had another little baby, and he's like, he was on flames last year. You know, he was absolutely on fire, and just expected more of that from himself. So it's been a real blow to him and the team, without a doubt. But hopefully, it'll be a Christmas present.
Another good servant whilst we're on the subject of very loyal players. Jack Muldoon making his 300th appearance in the Vale match the other night. Just a quick word on Jack's loyalty to the club.
He's an incredible lad. Anyone who gets the privilege to know him a little bit better, always had a good relationship with him, because when you look into the change room, stood there and sat down, and it's absolute eye contact. He's talking. I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah. He wants it, and he's on the edge of his seat, and he's desperate to go and fight fire with fire on the pitch. And at times, I've come in and I remember one game in particular where him and Becky it just wasn't happening. The balls were bouncing off them, and it just wasn't happening. And I came in and read the riot act and thinking, right, see what he's like now. And on fire the first 10 minutes, second half, and then his form took off. But he at times you think, oh, have I gone from one too many times? He's 35 now. How will he have? And I go, no. He'll go, morning Gaffer, straight away. Next day, brilliant attitude. He bounces and he takes people with him. When he'll do shooting exercises and go, come on Sam, let's do extra, let's do more. And talking to him today because he skied a half chance from outside the box the other day, and we were talking about just it's not easy when there's not too many chances coming his way at the moment. And he said, yeah, I lean back. I don't know why I took the shot on, but he's so open where there's a culture sometimes in today's game of an excuse, I wasn't right, the ball wasn't right, wasn't my fault, there's no other chance, pace of the pass, but he just hits it straight away. I should have done better. I've got to do better, and stays out 2 days after a game, doing extra. So yeah, brilliant guy. And in COVID, even my own daughter Ruby, a few years ago now, she would FaceTiming some of the players, and he'd be doing some plastering at home. He's a DIY man, and just pick up and go, hi Rubes, you alright? And just lively. And that's what you need in a change room, because it can quite often be quiet, unless you're winning every week and smashing teams 4-0, 5-0, and you get used to that on the way up. You need characters like him to go, forget that, move on. And he's brilliant at that.
Yeah, it's infectious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another question to you, Simon. Do you believe that the club spent the summer transfer fee wisely?
The transfer fee?
Spent wisely in the summer. I suppose that's what they're asking. Do you feel that the money was spent wisely in the summer?
The money that was available,
yes.
With people who were out of contract, and then the players that came in, there were only a few, but yes I do. I think that there's potential with players, but they're settling in a different period. You're not going to get ready-made League One ready players, quite often at a time, and sometimes they don't hit the ground running. It takes time, it takes cajoling, takes an acceptance from within the player himself at times, and we've got to help that process. And sometimes it's no, you're going down the wrong path. Your emotional control's not right, or I need to see more out there. And it's still have to tell the truth if they're not working hard enough, or they're taking umbrage with something where, actually, no, look at yourself first, you need to do more. But I think, like Zico, he came off the bench the other day, I think, he's getting there. I think when he's in that bully mode of, right, I'm strong, I'm going to get up and down, you can see him feeling it and seeing it now, and doing it more often. As you could see against Leeds, we're thinking, I'm going to sell this guy before we even start the season, which isn't the aim. We want to keep him, but there's also good lads who come. Quite often, the good, honest lads do get worried and think, so it takes a bit longer. And we want good lads in the building. And then Stephen Duke McKenna came off the bench the other night, just get at your fullback, and he was thrilling. It was great, and I thought it looked like a breakthrough. So hopefully we can give him the ball a lot, and he can enjoy his football and settle, and give him that sense of belonging. And the crowd plays a part, and if something goes wrong or he gets tackled, it's, go on, Dukey, let's go again. And that's what wingers need, that's what players need. And Alice Taylor, the other lad, he came on trial, had it tough at times in his life, and went to Hartlepool, tough time for them, came to us on a recommendation, best player in training first day. I thought, who's this? And then I said on the pitch before his first game pre-season, I'll sign you after the game, don't worry about anything, because we all believed in him, and he's just a breath of absolute fresh air. Every day in training, just goes out, smashing balls into the net like he's an 11-year-old, just loves the game. And so he's another player that if I was a fan, I'd be cheering his name. I'd be thinking of a song for him, because he loves the place. He loves playing for the club, and he wants to get shots off, and that's what you want to see, surely. You know, first before the game, get your shots off, get at it. And he did it, and nearly scored first half against a good keeper. And start the second half, and you go, oh, fair play to him. So that was the money that we had to spend on those 3 players. 2, I think, are coming, and the other one's already played nearly every minute of every game. So yeah, I'm pleased with them.
Very good. Now, Sarah, this one for you. Is there an end of season presentation evening planned? And if so, could it be a fundraising evening for a local charity, maybe?
There isn't one planned, but that's not to say there couldn't be. So it is on the radar. I think it's something that we need to do. Whether it'll be the end of this season or the following, or we need a conversation, I think. But yeah, we were just talking about it actually, because your Harrogate have got the Local Hero Awards tomorrow night, I believe. Yeah, so I know how much work goes into that. Hope it goes well.
Thank you.
And yeah, we were saying we want to do our own awards, so we will be working with the Community Foundation team on that. Leave that with me. It's definitely going to happen one day, so whether it's this season or not, I don't know.
Watch this space, ladies and gents. Now, that's it for the questions that you wrote down. Thank you very much. But is there any more from the floor in here? Any more questions that people would like to ask? Whilst the panel's here, yes, Jack.
Did the under-18 free ticket on Tuesday work well?
It worked incredibly well. Yeah, we had, Alex will probably tell me, but it was just short of 400 under-18s in total. So yeah, so some of those were obviously already season ticket holders, not so many. But yeah, it worked really well.
Is it something that you'll be doing again, Sarah? And maybe looking at doing during school holidays as well?
Yeah.
If there's a game that falls in half term, say, or Easter or something like that?
Definitely. I mean, as I alluded to before, the attendances, I think we looked at MK Dons and it was a really flat atmosphere that game, particularly. It didn't help. I know we didn't have the best of nights all around, but where we've got capacity and where we know there's going to be that, you know, we need a lift. We lose the families, obviously, because it's just too late. If we've got a 7:45 kick-off, we know from people that we know, you know, they're coming on a Saturday and they've got the families, the evening games, it's just them on their own. So, yeah, our job off the pitch as an ops team is to try and get behind the team and create the right atmosphere. So we do what it takes.
And obviously working with, you mentioned before, working with local schools, and more schools that are on board, that always helps, doesn't it? Bring extra new faces and whip up a bit of an atmosphere as well.
I mean, that's why we're sort of going down the route of working with Army Foundation College. Obviously, you've got 16 to 18-year-olds. We need to do our foundation of working with the primary schools, but not so much the secondary schools. So we need to work with secondary schools. So that's obviously on the agenda. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the answer you want to hear, Jack, or not, but our job, as I say, is to try and get the atmosphere electric, and I think we did that it worked Tuesday. Great game. I think we were unlucky, actually. It's my own view, but it was a fantastic game. I had loads of supporters talk to me after and say that was a brilliant game of football. And it was very loud. And I know we've had a good crowd, and noise is good when I get the complaints in from some of the residents as I did. Whilst I was sat there watching it. So I've dealt with them. Apologies if you're in the room.
Can I follow on from that?
Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
So if that works well and we're charging under 18s £140 for a season ticket, I understand that it works out at £6 a game, but the logic I think is if you get the kid through the door when they're young, they're then going to more than likely buy a season ticket when they turn a student and then potentially go on to an adult and then bring their own children. So to charge £140 is a hell of a lot of money for someone who's 16 years old, potentially doesn't really work because they go through GCSEs or whatever. Get them through the door now and then they'll spend the money when they're 18, 19, mid-20s.
we'll weigh it up, Jack. It comes down to capacity, comes down to yield. Obviously, if we did that and you saw the effect on Tuesdays, that was 400 on a Tuesday night. If you did that every game all season, then that's going to have an impact on the tickets that we can sell because we've got limited capacity. So it might be that we go, look, for the lower, for the games that we know the attendances are going to be lower, you know, we adjust. So we need to get through this season and really analyse the numbers, because as I said before, some of the TV fixture games, this is the first season we've had this challenge. So problem, it's an unknown territory for us to have this many TV games, and it does have an impact. So we'll look at it. I'm not saying we won't look at it, but we also have to we're running as a business as well. So it's just where we can, we will, and the main objective is to try and get behind the team and get the atmosphere right. But at the same time, I've got a job to do to try and make the club financially sustainable as well, and it's a balancing act.
Ladies and gents, any more questions?
I think Hamill.
Yeah, so just on that, the other day I had a conversation with Weatherby Athletic football coach, and he turned around to me and said, we were talking about attending the games, part of the kickback scheme that Dean's working hard on, and he says, realise giving his free tickets back, it's working. He says, my son came ad hoc last season when he did it, and he's near enough been to every single game from then forward, and he even went to the away games as well. So for me, it basically said, it is working. You are gaining new fans. Sometimes it's hard to look at it. I'm thinking, every week they're going to come, but little things like that, it just reassures you that it is working, and it will have an impact in the future, because now that lad, he comes to home and away games, it says, it's not just him, it's his friends, it's his friends at school and everything. So I do believe, putting the offers on like that, we are gaining from it as well, and people are coming back, because of the experience they had.
Ladies and gents, anything to add from the floor for the panel whilst we've got them here? In which case, final word, Sarah, Irving, Simon, Hamill.
Just thank you for your support. And if you've got any feedback, if you've got any questions about the panel, the supporters panel, just please get in touch, because we want to hear about it. And also good feedback as well. We want to know if we're doing things right, as well as things we could improve. Really important. We started doing a lot more surveys after games. We get at least 50 odd surveys back, and we read every single one of the comments, and we try and address them every time. It's not just paying lip service to our supporters. It's not what we're about at all. But thank you for taking the time to come out tonight. Really appreciate it.
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming. There's some SLOs in here. I'd personally like to thank them, because they're doing an amazing job on a match day, helping with the match day experience. First time visitors, there's a few of me today, but I'd just really like to thank them personally, because you're making a difference, and it's much appreciated. So thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to add the thanks as well, and hope I can see every one of you on the next home match.
Thanks to Phil Priestley, our goalkeeper coach, who's at the back there. He's been very patient, waiting for his pine peas. That's his tea for tonight. And for working on Belly, because he's put in that great save the other night. So well done to Phil.
What a save! What a save!
What a save! Yeah, it's brilliant. No, thanks for your ongoing support. It means a lot to all of us. Thank you.
Any problems? Just a quick word about Notts County this weekend, Simon. Any further injuries to the squad?
No, not yet, but we've got training yet tomorrow.
It'll be all right.
All good. We're looking forward to it. It's a great stadium, and the more we can get down there, the better it is for the lads. That's for sure. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Round of applause for your panel tonight. Thank you, Georgia, as well.